You might say I took the case for adventure. You might say I was just misinformed. Walk down the right back alley and you can find just about anything, even if it's blacker than 100 midnights down in the cypress swamp. You might say I'm another one of those tough guys. I've been sapped twice, choked, beaten silly with a gun, shot in the arm until I was crazy as a couple of Walter mice. My big problem is I've been a loser since the day I was born. Sometimes so far down that even down looks up. But then, one day, all of a sudden from out of nowhere, she walked through my door like a tigress walks into a Burmese orphanage. Strawberry blonde and legs for hours. No dame her age could afford a coat like that. And the kind of makeup she had on gave me a good idea exactly how she got it. She had bad news written all over her face, from top to bottom and side to side. And it rolled off her body like October of 29. You could smell the stench she left in the air filling the entire room, enough to make you want to lose your sense of smell and taste. Wash your hands and stay at home. And that dame, she was no lady. No lady at all. Not this femme fatale. We were hit with the virus. That was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, and months that led to more deaths, more infections, more stress, and more loneliness. Photos and videos from 2019 feel like they were taken in another era. The last vacation, the last birthday with friends, the last holiday with extended family. Well, it was different for everyone. We all lost something. And throughout, it was raining in the city by the bay. A hard rain. Hard enough to wash the slime off the street. That's when my phone rang. Woke me up from a deep sleep in one of the transient motels, something between a flea bag and a dive. That was when I got the call to take on the I got a Gumball FOIA case. The voice was thick, had mileage on it. Me, you might say I'm kind of a private eye. Maybe I'm another cold-blooded killer, a lecher, a liar, a thief. I've chased international and domestic terrorists, drug dealers, spies, small-time and big-time thieves, cheats, and even plagiarists. It's a living. Honest work. But I hadn't worked for months. Bit of a dry spell. But Pandemic was the kind of town where they spell trouble T-R-U-B-I-L. And if you try to correct them, they'll kill you. Months of discord about the coronavirus epidemic had transformed the cloth mask into a potential symbol, touted by Democrats as a key part of communal responsibility, labeled by Republicans as a sign of government overreach, and a scarlet letter pinned on a wig. One couldn't help but notice, though. This is like the Greyhound station for death. Welcome to the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. And it left me shaken and disturbed. All the questions kept coming up over and over and over again like bubbles in a case of club soda. What the hell was that? Oh yeah. The I got a Gumball FOIA case. None of my clients in the room paid any attention to the way I came in. Although, only some of them were already dead. Okay, I said to myself, you're a tough guy. Now let's do something really tough. Like putting on your pants, shaving the stubble off your face. Go out to ask some questions and see if you can crack this case. Now where to begin? When your head says one thing and your whole life says another, your head always loses. A guy once told me that it's a mistake to confound strangeness with mystery. The most commonplace crime is often the most mysterious only because it presents no new or special features, potentially engineered or not, from which deductions may be drawn. Only a fool takes in all the lumber of every sort that he comes across so that the knowledge which might be useful to him gets crowded out. That's the way he talked. Or at best, is jumbled up with a lot of other things so that he has a difficulty in laying his hand upon the skillful workman, he said, very careful as to what he takes into his brain attic, lets inside, and he will have nothing but the tools which may help him in doing his work. But of these he has a large assortment, and all in the most perfect order, moving like a computer machine. And that's clear as mud. But pandemics are historically associated with times of fear, confusion, and despair. And we need cool heads that are unafraid to go where angels fear to tread. An anomaly is what we had, giving rise to an evolving science where nobody knew what was going on. An anomaly is kind of a pattern that defies the paradigm-induced expectations that govern normal science, disrupting the status quo like a scientific revolution. But the one thing that keeps scientists busy in normal science without a revolution is working on resolving anomalies. The best way to get somewhere you've never been before is probably not to take the road less traveled when you can just get on the same highway that everyone else time tested to get there before you. Don't try to find a new way to get to California, kid. And in science, reproducibility of results and replicability of methods are fundamentally important aspects of the scientific method, the hallmarks. That's how I got a Gumball FOIA case and found its proximal origin. Since 1870, when Robert Koch was developing Koch's postulates, which you may have heard of, science has known exactly how to perform the how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop test without some darn owl eating it to determine the infectious dose for disease. But according to the scientific report published by the disease control and prevention experts at the CDC as late as May of 2021, long after a novel virus arose in China, the infectious dose of SARS-CoV-2 needed to transmit infection had not yet been established. That's about as wrong as two left shoes. Why would that be? So I decided to check it out with a hypothesis, a lucky hunch. Had this standard metric for assessment of transmissibility risk sounded like it was classified, and that might be the case. That metric could only be classified by executive order 12958, I believe, if the government actually owned and or controlled this biological causative agent known as the novel virus, which sounds like trouble with a capital T. It stands for D, like demon. But if the government owned it, then the virus would have to have been cultivated or manipulated or somehow come out of a lab, answering the great big mystery that's got everybody asking questions and forming committees and losing their mind. And the best way I've always found to get an easy answer is to simply ask a simple question. Sesame Street stupidity, and see what happens. The commander of the U.S. Army Reserve said, if I play roulette and contract the virus, I could be asymptomatic or on a respirator. And she didn't want to risk finding out where in the spectrum she fell, running on her luck until it all ran out. Every gambler knows you have to bet with your head and not over it. Don't let your dreams catch a check your family can't afford. But one astrophysicist, Harvard, Dick Feynman. You may remember him from the space shuttle. He had an idea how to beat and bust the casino. Or at least not lose your shirt trying. Number one rule. You want to win at the casino? Never bet with your own money. Get some other sucker to give you money to lose it. Number two. If you can't bet on a sure thing, you can always increase your odds. But there is a funny thing about casinos. They are not in the business to lose money, and they tend to discourage card counters. I don't know why. A lot of amateur sleuths went on fishing expeditions in a pandemic. Now we got more dead people than Hitler, asking for emails and hoping to find some smoking gun like somebody's just going to come out and confess. Or just one slim read to build their hopes on. But that is no way to go about building a case. Never ask a question you don't already know the answer to. That's what lawyers say. It may sound great to bet the hard eights when tossing craps or even betting on 00 at roulette and praying the gods of fortune may have mercy on you. But experts have determined that while you don't exactly have a 50-50 chance of winning at roulette, betting on red or black, odd or even, 47% is not that bad. In a pandemic, we don't have a lifetime to wait for you to get to the high roller suite. So I submitted a Gumball for you. It's not like putting your pennies and dimes into a slot machine and hoping the rollers will spin out a jackpot for you someday. No. I decided to just take a little dirty penny and drop it into the Gumball machine, because if you don't get a Gumball 100% of the time, every time you drop that coin in the slot, then something has got to be wrong with that machine. That doesn't sound like a success story. And so, on March 23rd, 2021, about 2 weeks after the first anniversary pandemic declaration, 527,000 Americans dead. More American fatalities than both world wars, the conflict in Southeast Asia, and the terror attacks on 9/11. The day the president had announced the American Rescue Plan, I sat right down and wrote myself a little letter, all about a simple little FOIA, a Gumball FOIA. And I sent it off to the White House expecting a prompt reply. In less than a month, but let's just say, funny thing happened on the high road to Scotland at 40. Because now, it's 3 years later. There have been 3 litigations. And that little Gumball, boy, seems to be stuck and determined not to, escape. Yeah, say it be. Such is life. Not like the virus is killing me. Maybe I'll live so long that I'll forget about it. Maybe I'll just die trying. But the strawberries, the strawberries. That's where I had them. I proved with geometric logic that a duplicate key to the icebox actually existed. I could have produced that key. They were trying to protect some officer. Naturally, I can only cover these things I can recall from memory.
This message was approved by Major Mike Webb. Honest.
This has been a Filmways presentation. darling.
And y'all come back now. Yeah.